Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Mad Chats. Sorry, we have been a little bit off grid because we've just come back to the institute or uni, which is pretty good. So we had a little bit of time to set up, and this is actually our first session live in studio, which is pretty great. Anyway, let's get right to it. We have a couple of announcements to go through first. The first one is our new team member, Sila,
Hey.
which we would like to welcome to you all. So, hello,
Thank
Sila.
you. I feel well welcomed.
And yeah, guys, this episode of Mad Chats is brought to you guys by Longtooth Gin. Links in the description. And yeah, go and show Longtooth some love. All of the, actually not all, but really bad from me as a host, but some of the profits they make go to the safeguard of tigers. And yeah, more on their website, more information. We personally love Longtooth here. So yeah, let's get right to it. Okay, how's everybody doing, huh?
Excellent.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I'm all right. It's fine.
Kind of
First time in studio, a little bit of tension, huh? Nah, none of that.
That's fine.
But yeah, shall we just quickly talk about what's been going on during this absolutely infernal set of weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to go on about the Google Sprint then?
I think it's good to explain what the Google Sprint was.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say.
before we get right into it. So we had a week, 5 days of a project on recycling around the university. So to identify problems by talking to people, visiting locations around, and then identifying what the problem we want to focus on is, finding solutions on that, and then focusing on one at the end. And I thought it was very fun.
Yeah, like it's what I think is crazy is the idea that you can actually kind of come up with an idea or well a solution in a week, you know, and actually it was right at the end of a week that the ideas started flourishing. A lot of it was just looking around, doing things, which is really interesting. What was the quote by Paul? If somebody asked Albert Einstein if he had to solve a problem.
It spends 99% of the time.
Yeah, 99% of the time understanding the problem and then 1% on the solution. Yeah. I thought it was interesting. You know, learning about design thinking, it's a learning curve. For some it works, for some it doesn't work. But nevertheless, it's an interesting concept to explore, I think. But yeah, like what were the highlights, Simbins?
Some of the, yes. I mean, like you were saying about the fact that we were like, oh, you can actually come up with an idea in 5 days. That's pretty interesting. Because on like the 4th day, and then they were talking about, oh, let's go and do more ideas. And I was like, no, I don't want to do any more ideas. I'm so done with this. But then when we actually came to it, I actually came up with some really good ideas. And that was that. And yeah.
Should we talk about some of the ideas that went on? Just so
Well, the final ideas, we can talk about those.
Yeah, go on then. Who here represents each group? Because Charlie and I...
Simbins.
We did about the showcase for the garbage and we... What was the
It was
name?
the installation thing.
Yeah, but
wasn't it?
did you name something?
What did I call it?
He was the creator, so...
I know, 2 ideas. It's very special.
Actually 3, I guess. No, 2.
No, 2. I'm not that good.
Okay.
But yeah, no, so you did the installation one, which was, you can explain it if you want.
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
So...
No, you can't.
I'll do it.
You're not allowed.
So it was initially Charlie's idea. And so we curated it in a way that... we took all the trash from yesterday's and then we put it up and we started hanging it on the roof and started showing that, you know, these are the consumptions you've done yesterday. And we asked the question at the end of it that if would this path be easier for you if, you know, you would have consumed less or, you know, recycled better, whatever. And so when we hung that on the ceiling, people had to walk through that, and it was quite a difficult walk because, you know, it was just not like they're walking and nothing was on their way. Something was, you know, coming on their way, and either it was smelling and then a lot of things. So it gave a lot of feelings of like it was touching your face. So it was the touch there, smell was there, and then like we tried to interpret in these few terms, and yeah. I think a lot of people came back to us and told us that it really helped them think about what we are trying to convey, and I think which is very nice.
Yeah. That's personally for me what was quite powerful about it, you know, because you hung all of this trash from these strings, and then at the end you had that sign saying, "Do you think this walk would have been any easier if you consumed less the previous day?" And that is quite powerful because it did make me think that actually previously, if we wouldn't have consumed as much, this would have been pretty easy.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Miss Late. Marge is in the studio, everybody, and she'll join us in a sec as we set up. But hello, joined by Margaret. And yeah, I think that the idea was actually really powerful, and I loved it.
I think it was because it was that physical. A lot of the ideas were metaphorical, and you couldn't really feel it. But on that one, it's right in your face, and so you had to
Exactly.
actually using it as an obstacle. I thought it was
It
really
was
good.
more like, bitch, what have you done?
No, it was confronted with
but it
you're
was-
a scumbag. Look what
yeah.
you've done to the world.
Yeah, but I think the best thing about that project was we three of us came out with the entire installation within like half a day, and yeah, we did everything, and it was not even one of our ideas; it was derived from Charlie's idea. So I think, and also I think we did justice to your idea.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So-
It's better than I had. When I actually came up with the idea, I kind of just like I throw away, like, ah, fuck it, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But you kind of made it real, and that was
Yeah.
really
No, it
good.
was really
Oh
was
yeah,
smart.
because David was like, no, please put that up because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
weren't going to put it up,
Yeah, it
and
wasn't.
actually it ended up being such a strong idea in the end. Which
Always
is
the
crazy.
unexpected turns.
Yeah,
Never
no,
underestimate stuff. Like one of my
Yeah.
old tutors, Nigel Robinson, he said all of these little sketches and things that you do, keep them. Don't put them in the bin. One day you're going to stumble across one and be like, holy shit, that is something mad. So metaphor as a strategy, we love that. But do we want to talk about obscenity?
Well, I'm not done
Yeah,
yet.
You're not- oh, there's more. Go on.
Hold
So,
yours, baby.
so after doing this in the institute, we were thinking about taking it the next level and like maybe showcasing somewhere around O2, and then maybe somewhere else to bring in more people to see and understand what they have been doing and get the idea of throwing trash and all of that out there. So yeah.
If you had the time to do it, like, would you do it? 'Cause,
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course,
it's a
of
hectic
course, of
time. I'm not saying
I
you're
think
going to go
it's-
to the O2. And,
I think it's quite easy to do it. I think we did it in half a day, so I think it's quite easy.
I think the only challenge is obviously the O2. Very high ceilings.
We're not
Yeah.
going to do that.
But it will be good.
It's just going to be on the entrance. So like.
I was
that-
just thinking about
yeah.
putting a frame. didn't
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
to-
yeah.
Yeah, but and you can add so much. You can have like projection. I love projection. I think projection
We can
is
do a
nice.
lot if we actually go about it. So
Yeah, like, and I think I actually think that would get people to turn their heads actually, rather than well, I mean, speaking of turning their heads,
Frankie just can't stop.
We want to
Can't
talk about the sin bins.
yeah,
So from the more serious and probably would work to the downright ridiculous, our team was the sin bins. So we thought about normal recycling, very boring, very mundane, very standard, and a lot of people kind of forget it and they're like, oh, I can't be bothered to throw this away, so they put everything in the wrong bin. So we came up with the idea to do something sexy with bins. So to hypersexualize the whole bin industry, to kind of get people to actually want to do it, because you want to visit the bins, take photos with them, and then we think about doing a strategy online to do an Instagram thing where people can post a picture with it and they can get like 10% off at like Love Honey or anything like that.
free condoms.
Free
and stuff.
condoms, yeah. So we thought it was a great idea. What was it? What was the one? Sexual favors. That was what it was. So
Yeah,
get 10%
yeah,
off.
yeah.
Here's a sexual favor.
But then on the bins, like we also had like quite bold type saying
yeah.
quite funny phrases. Like we had these things called the boo bins, which are literally two bins, one for plastic, one for something else. Like obviously in the shape of boobs. And what was the phrase? Focus on two things at once.
Focus on two things at
yeah.
once, yeah.
Then we had like a condom-shaped bin saying,
Fill me up.
"Don't cock it up."
Don't cock
yeah,
it up, all of that kind of
it
stuff.
was funny, but I understand why somebody would see that and be fuming.
It was one of the things that we didn't even think about it. We haven't gone through a situation that could have been, oh, this is a terrible thing that's happened to someone. So we didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
So to really put it into practice, we'd need to do more research, talk to more people. That have
Yeah,
had,
and that's actually
experiences.
why the part of the Google Sprint I didn't enjoy as much. Or actually, but I think it's flawed about the concept of a Google Sprint, that it doesn't give you enough time to calculate absolutely every single outcome.
Yeah.
Right,
Although you
and
can still
which
come up
we-
with a good idea.
Yeah, and make no mistake, like the Google Sprint is all about just proposing a concept. I don't think it's about ideating and creating a finalized idea. But I wish that it was a Google Sprint 2-week thing. I think because I think that if we can develop something like that in a week, just purely based on research, why don't we dedicate more on research and then on that creation of a presentation or a concept, which I think, but
I mean,
That's pretty much what we're doing for our term, right?
Pretty much, and
yeah.
I'm glad actually.
I mean, that first week is fine. Like coming up with all the ideas, identifying the problem, fine. But you need more time to do actual physical research, talk to people, identify what's going on, if they approve of it, if they don't approve of it. Because we only really had a few people that said, "Oh, it's cool and it's funny," and we're like, "Okay, that's great," but we needed more.
I mean, I went downstairs and I asked the guy at the coffee shop, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what do you think of this?" And he was like, "Interesting."
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Which guy would say it's not interesting?
Well, I don't know, like somebody who perhaps is against obscene images in public, I'd say.
I don't think it would be
It,
anyone.
it depends on the culture as well.
that's
And the
true.
culture as well, yeah. Like, someone from a certain religious background could see that and be like, "Yeah, that's not on with me."
It can
you
be
know,
met with
that's okay.
such resistance in some countries versus
Yeah,
There
and
were a
some
lot of issues with it. As fun as it was, there were a lot of issues.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
know, but that's kind of where I personally learn. I learn in the grey areas, you know, and that's an important thing. It's a learning experience. You may as well just go into something deep immediately, and because then when you're actually in the real situation, you've already been through that grey area. You know where to position yourself as a creative
that's
person.
an interesting
Yeah,
perspective. Always the nuances, you know, not the black or the white thing.
yeah. Like I mean, I think it was Angelo that said this. Like, you know, sometimes you are going to run into certain situations that do have a very black or white outcome, which is immediately there. But it's actually when you go into that grey area that you figure out that there is something there that really you should have been looking at. It's
Meat and
just-
potatoes of it.
yeah, it's really interesting. There was another project as well on making a club,
Yeah.
making a membership.
yeah, raised
Sheila?
VIP.
Go on, tell us
It
about
was just about making it a community, so there wouldn't be. It was just about the green sticker on your ID that would indicate that you have gone through some induction at the beginning of your term, and then the community would be empowered by some events that would. So we would host some people who could speak to us about sustainability and all. So yeah, it was a realistic project, but
I totally see our ideas coming together, like the thing which your team projected and our team, if you could like do
Have
it
you
together.
considered?
I was going to say, I can't consider the sim bins. What we're going to do, just hang up some condoms or something.
no, I mean I did consider simpins because if we
Really?
had the rooftop bar as a privilege, we would have sex bins there, like as a because
okay,
they
okay.
are really great.
I mean, it would be great, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I see that because of the idea of a club, and then it all fits in. What for me was the absolute highlight is the fact that a cohort of creatives came together and then came apart and came together again, and in only a week they created great solutions to a very boring problem. It is a boring problem. Don't get me wrong, recycling is important. I believe we must look after the environment, but it is a boring thing nobody wants to talk about. And that we have been drilled into since the days of school. Like recycle, reuse, redevelop, redeliver, all of that. Like the R's. I've forgotten about them, but extraordinary people coming up with extraordinary solutions for an ordinary problem. That's literally the tagline of the week, and I absolutely loved that. It was incredible. And O&O is now, for those that don't know, that's outcomes and outputs.
I know, or I don't know.
But I think I'm very excited about ONO other than anything. Like, I think I'm more excited about anything but ONO.
What are you doing for it? What is your
Oh.
specialist project? We can all describe our own projects.
Yeah. So I'm doing virtual reality in fashion. So when I started this project, Paul and Mireille told me that, I have to think either ways. Either like I'm gonna do it for the business part of it, or maybe like I do the designing of the clothes. But I was just so into the business part of it, like I wanted to design the business and all of that. So I went towards that, and so I'm trying to set up a business module around the areas of virtual reality in fashion, and trying to explore what I could do to create the next big thing in fashion in terms of
Interesting.
digitalization and virtual reality.
That sounds really good.
I know.
That's why I picked it.
That's why I'm doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. What's everybody else doing? I mean, I know what you're doing, but come on, let's hear it.
Oh, I'll talk about mine. So my project's called Blood, Crime and Violence.
Hey,
It's sick, man.
very Dexter.
Deadly.
Very Dexter,
Very
yeah.
Dexter.
So I'm looking at the relationship between the words themselves, looking at the etymology, the origins, and all of that to do with the words themselves. But I'm also looking at how criminality is kind of like a performance, so it's like a play. So it's the planning of like a crime, how I'm likening it to a performance at a play. So it's kind of where that interplay lies between the reality of crime and fictional portrayals in theatre and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where it is at the moment.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah, I think I really like your
Nice.
project because when I saw it, it had so many meanings and like so many like, you know, hooks and crooks about blood. I had never thought that blood could have so many meanings or stuff because it's just like a thing.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, there's a lot of phrases that go with it. They
Yeah.
can mean completely different things. I'm
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
exploring that at the moment.
It's not just a thing. It's just like a scary thing most of the time. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I'm also
So-
looking at that fear side and why people
Yeah.
fear their own
People's
blood. It's
perceptions.
weird, isn't
Yeah.
it? And why we're all fascinated by, I say all, I'm fascinated by true crime.
I'm
and why-
fascinated by true crime. Yeah.
Why do people murder? What's wrong with them? What's going on?
Well, yeah.
Why do I like
you
watching
want
it?
to know what drives one to commit an action.
Yeah.
That horrible, but yeah, I'm really interested to see the outcome of that.
Yeah.
What's going on with you, Betty? Then, mate?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's up?
what's going on?
okay.
What are you
So,
doing?
actually doing for Diono a project all around the film industry.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually trying to question, for example, why, or the place, the position of design in the film, and why they are like focusing more into films and movies. Like in general, design is like something that is kind of invisible, but is so powerful in a movie. So this part is like kind of it lacks projection. So I'm like, why there are, for example, Oscars just for movies and not for design, for example.
It's
And,
so
um,
interesting.
Yeah. And so for like all I could found like in the design is just the design, like setting and props and stuff like that, but it's just like it needs to be shown differently. So I'm interested in cinema and how the imagination connects with the reality, and it's this connection that I'm seeking, not the reality and not the imagination. And so that's gonna be
God,
the
yeah. And you know what? And design does have a massive space in look at the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's
Great
absolutely
Oh, yeah.
it's the union and marriage of design and film. It really is. And there's so many practitioners that have graphic designers that have influenced film. Like look at Sol Bass and the titling sequence. Look at Henrion and identifying the TV. We spoke about it with Adrian a while ago. It's just genius, But I'm so interested to actually see the outcome of it.
I am
really
as
am.
well.
And being in London is a really good place for that
Oh, yeah.
project.
Definitely.
When I walked home from class the other day, they were filming Bridgerton right next to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cinema.
yeah.
I saw it as
Yeah.
well.
I love that your story was like, are they
I was like,
filming
am
it?
I sure I know? And then I got more and more confirmation, and I got more and more excited. It was very exciting.
Was it
Yeah.
Greenwich University?
Actually more towards like the Naval College.
I know
But
where
yeah,
to go
in that
now.
area.
I know
right
where
on
to
the
go
water.
now.
Yeah. They filmed so much there, like the Avengers was filmed there. They're always filming. Yeah.
Mad.
I want the dress.
A Bridgerton dress.
Oh yes. I want to see the cast.
Should we talk about flowers?
I wanted to ask Betty a question.
yeah.
So
No, all good. All good. We got time.
yeah, so I wanted to know that so a huge part of fashion is influenced by films, and do you think that if there was no film, there would be fashion, or like there would be that much? It would be so popular, like if there won't be any Met Gala or any of these sort of like glamorous event. Do you think fashion would still have such a meaning?
To be honest, I feel like they go side by side, hand in hand or side by side. Yeah, I mean, because it adds like, if for example the outfit is also like
Very important.
Yeah, very important. It's still design, so I can't just imagine like a scene with. Just it's just like no. Okay.
I didn't say anything. Can I just defend myself here?
So Kenya's an autofill form. That's not what I'm going to say. Back off.
I mean,
I mentioned no such thing of clothes or off clothes. Like,
without actually planning or having like a strategy, clear strategy of design and outfit of for this this specific scene. So I mean, it's kind of can't imagine like fashion design without fashion, and you know.
I mean,
so,
I'll add to
we'll
that.
see.
If items in general weren't, you know, necessary or non-impactful, there wouldn't be any product placement. Think about James Bond without an Aston Martin, you know, like, you know, what would you do if James Bond turned up in a Fiat Panda? You'd be like, what's going on here? Like, it doesn't fit the parameters.
Loser.
And which then turns into an Aston Martin. That would be fucking great. But
It does boost it though, like you're saying about the Met Gala and all that sort of stuff. It's
yeah,
it's a
absolutely, yeah.
time for them to show off. And so all the big brands put in the crazy looking stuff. And some
Yeah,
of it looks
yeah.
great, and others I'm just like,
Yeah, product
you
placement.
guys are crazy.
Yeah.
Product placement is a great advertising strategy, like, you know, especially in the big franchises. But, well, I mean, fuck. Wow. But yeah, anyway, Marge.
Yeah, so I'm doing my project on florography,
I love that.
which
I love that.
which is the language of flowers. So basically, back in the Victorian era and age, people communicated with flowers all the time. So you have certain flowers that mean certain things, positive and negative. Like for instance, a peony. It's peony season right now,
Oh, I
and
love
that
the smell.
actually represents anger
Really?
in the language
Oh.
of flowers.
It's okay,
Dun,
like,
dun,
I
dun.
love those flowers.
I really love the smell. I really, really love the smell.
Yeah.
Nice flowers.
So I
Okay.
am taking the language of flowers, which hasn't been really updated or evolved in like a long, long time. And I'm evolving it to a modern language using social media to like interview people on how they feel about certain flowers. And then also just educate myself on like floristry in general, floral design, and like the color theory in that. So lots of flower stuff for the coming months.
Just so
Very
you know,
exciting.
she's a famous TikToker now. She's gone viral.
I would say I'm a micro TikToker.
Go on. How many? How many
How viral are we
followers?
talking?
Probably more than Mad Chats, but
Yes, I think I saw it 7K.
Yeah, about 7K. But that's no, because Frankie, that's really like for TikTok. That's like nothing. If someone posts one video of their mom doing something funny on TikTok, they can get like 5,000
stop
followers.
giving me ideas.
I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot you now for my TikTok.
I'm not shooting mum, no.
No.
Joking. Yeah, like, yeah, film me for TikTok.
No, she's gonna
I
shoot
do
you.
dumb shit all the time, so you feel free to, yeah, take advantage of that. But yeah, but also, to be honest, what I find interesting is that as a form of documentation, TikTok for your flowers, that directly informs into your project.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm the most excited about, just because even like one or like building relationships with people you like don't know is so exciting. Like I made a video on snapdragons, and different people are commenting what it means to them. So someone was like, oh, my grandmother used to always give these to me on my birthday, so it means like familial love to me. And then someone else is like, oh, I bought these the week that my boyfriend and I broke up. I hate snapdragons.
Oh, man.
So it's just really interesting. Like I feel like I'm really hearing personal stories, and that whole aspect I never predicted for the project. So I'm very excited to see how it turns out. Hopefully I'll do some sort of publication at the end or something like that. But yeah.
Sounds great.
That
though.
sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
it's interesting.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, especially the story part.
Yeah. And it's just getting to be around a lot of flowers. It's fun because I'm actually buying all of these and like I'll spend the week with the flowers and see what they
Do
mean
get
in
up
my
to
life.
process.
And that was one of our tutor's suggestions. So I'm probably spending way too much money on flowers, but it's
worth
okay.
it.
It's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now I know what to gift you.
yeah.
She's gonna get sick of flowers at the end of this. She's like, I hate flowers.
Yeah,
Hate
watch
all
me-
of
Watch
them.
me get like
flowers, you know,
allergic
like-
or something.
Yeah, but if you had a pollen allergy,
Just
it'd be
having
so-
them around all the time.
I've got pollen allergy.
Right
so
now, I
it'd be
think I
awful.
have like 9 or 10 bouquets in my apartment. It's bad.
When your parents come to visit you, like, darling, when did you get engaged? Like,
No, my mom loves flowers, so she's
Oh, that's where it
constantly-
comes
That's
from,
where it
huh?
comes from. Yeah,
That's
definitely.
great.
All right, see that?
Love that.
Yeah. So my project is about identity and how the narration of finding oneself
Yeah.
is exploited by transnational brands, let's say, mostly fast fashion brands, because there has been this journey, that's this obsession with finding oneself since existentialism, and it's been used a lot. Yeah, so I'm kind of on that right now. I'm looking at which words, which phrases that brands use, and making a word inventory for this kind of narration.
It's like a re-exploration of an almost like negative dictionary.
It's like philosophical, and mine's like, I like murder.
So what are some examples of words that you've like picked up?
Yeah, it's the first comes to mind is just be yourself.
Okay, yeah.
But wear these jeans while
Right.
being yourself, because these jeans are actually you.
Yeah.
And
That's
that,
so interesting.
So how does it mean to you? Like how did you come up with the idea? Like
it is such a long story, but I was angry with how my nation identified themselves with religion and sexual orientation, and I thought that a nation could not identify with such things. And then it's just started, how do you pick words to identify yourself, and then it gave way to the concept of identity, and then I made some research, learned about identity formation, which is a whole process that we go through when we're teenagers.
yeah, that's
And everybody goes through that. And so yeah, it's
deep. But
That's,
yeah,
so-
I'm
that's
still
really
confused.
interesting. But the phrases are particularly interesting because like we do this all the time. Like I'll give you an example. I did a massive ASOS order the other day, and I saw these jeans, and I was like, yeah, that's a bit of me. Just like, is it though? Like, you know, now you're making me question.
I genuinely thought you were going to be like live, laugh, love or something like that.
No,
The
no.
worst.
No. But yeah, like oh God, there's a lot of like different varieties of stuff, and it's interesting.
what about you? You haven't spoken about yours.
Mine is code named right now. There's no definite title like you know, blood, murder, and
Blood, crime and violence.
blood, crime, and violence. And actually, this code name was coined by this gentleman right here. He's already forgotten. It's called, remember propaganda?
Propaganda.
Propaganda.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, this guy's a wordsmith. What can I say? You have to be for a designer with
Wordsmith,
typography.
wow.
But he's a wordsmith. He really is. But yeah, I'm doing a project on the realities of war and the
we've spoken
consequences of
about it.
PTSD, and it's a union of perspectives because I'll be interviewing veterans from different capacities, civilians, everybody involved really, to try and get a good clear picture and then communicate the reality of that. Maybe through photography enhanced by augmented reality and then mounted as an exhibition. I don't know. I'm not clear on that yet. I just want the truth right now. That's all I can ask. And it is a propaganda as opposed of a propaganda. You know, like which one comes first? But yeah, it's a true look. You know, that's really what it is. Because I don't know. I think that it's important as designers to truly do pick a subject that you want to delve some research into, because that's essentially what, you know, we are going to get paid for at some point, you know.
It's very interesting. I totally see that work going to Tate Britain or Tate Modern and getting showcased.
Well, I don't know. Like, I don't know where or how it gets showcased. I just care that I capture some truth in there, and I do it correctly, because interviewing people that have had traumatic experiences is something that I'm still strategizing, because, you know, I want to allow them a platform to open up, but I also don't want to, you know, reel them in too much. I'm like, at your own time, your own pace, just, you know, give me what you got.
Are you scared of any backfires or any cons?
No, because I don't think I'll ask anything that is
Controversial?
not necessarily non-controversial, but I don't think I'm going to ask anything that would set someone off, essentially. Like, and we, you know, maybe somebody could have an episode, but, you know, before I begin this, I am also consulting experts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's you know, I was talking to my friend Gary today, who I'll be working with, and he's the best person to really ask, you know, what is the approach? How do we go on about this? Because there's a lot of preparation that I must really consider. But yeah, it's going to be exciting, and I'm excited to see all of the outcomes as well. Like, I'm so fascinated
Are
by
you
all of
excited
it.
to see our outputs?
Well, the outputs are are happening now. Really, these are the outputs, which then lead to the outcomes. But
I've had a long day.
me too, man, me too. But you know, but that's it. The world. We've just concluded basically that the world just needs designers. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Literally.
well, yeah, because otherwise, without designers, so much dumb shit happens.
Also,
Like,
we don't have jobs, so
That's true.
be
That's
nice.
true. God, I saw this thing today that really pissed me off, man. Like, it was somebody on Twitter that put out a tweet showcasing a petition that somebody put towards the government about including safety around horses as part of the test. And somebody in the comments put like, imagine the driving instructor going along like, bring out the horses. It's like you need designers basically to like make
that'd be
people
so sick.
reason, like so a shit like that doesn't happen. But yeah, like I'm so excited. I'm so excited for all the episodes which are coming next, and we're not gonna say too much. But there's exciting stuff happening, isn't there?
Very
guys?
exciting. I'm so excited.
there's lovely. Yeah, shall we wrap up? What do you say, guys?
Why not?
Yeah, should we wrap it up here? Okay, well, remember, guys, give our guys at Longtooth some love. Great gin. This is the London Dry, and yeah, this was Mad Chats episode 3. Is it episode 3? No, it's not 4. The 0 doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
No,
Why did you-
Technically, he's correct.
am I correct?
You are correct.
Yeah. Okay. Links in the description, and yeah, first time in studio, and yeah, take it easy, and we love you all. All right, guys, take it easy.